Folks, I'm often asked just how we fish or what rig we use basically, especially if I'm using plastics. It's pretty simple. Let's pick a little tournament style Kamikaze plastic, I don't know whether you can see that, about 50mm long, 2 inches in the old scale. Personally, I run a little jig head, a little lead jig head, anywhere between about 1.8 grams and 3.6. The faster the water and the deeper, of course the heavier. And what I want it to do is, I pick the size of the jig head so that when the jig sinks, it's going down, down, down. And if it's going down fast enough, that little tail is really working hard. Too slow and it just sinks without the tail working. I want it to sink through the water column and get near the bottom, so the fish see it coming, they feel that vibration, and they hit it as it hits the bottom. Especially flathead, they're a bit of a sight feeder. They'll see it from literally a couple of metres away in clear water, and they'll hit them hard. So a standard little jig head, just a little lead jig head, not hard at all. It's not rocket science. The biggest part, and the people mostly get wrong, is when you put the jig head in, it has to be dead straight. If you've got a crooked lure and he's bent like a banana, basically you won't catch fish. They just don't work for some reason. The fish, they're smart. Tiny pea brain, but they know. So the system is, work out where your lure, where you want the lead to come through, about halfway on the back, a bit hard to see there. So when you put that jig head through, it goes down the front of the lure. You're not going to be able to see this really easy, but down about halfway down the body, pull it out through the back. Now when that hook comes out the back, it has to be fair smack in the middle. Got to be smack in the middle, not out to the sides, because it just won't swim right. When you've got that right, push it in, use a bit of muscle, which I haven't got, and it should look like that. Now, the hook point rides upwards, so in a lot of cases it'll bounce over timber, and that little tail is doing his thing all the time. Okay, that's the basics. So it has to be dead up top, fair smack in the middle. Don't know whether you can see that there. No, it's a bit rough, it's out to the side. Try and get it as close to the backbone up on that plastic as you can get it, not out to the sides. For some reason, they just don't work. They have to be in the middle. If your plastic gets damaged, especially the toe point, sometimes the hooks start to pull out, you can turn it over and run the hook out the other side. The plastic up or down works the same. Looks better up the right way. So that's an easy one. The other one I'm asked a lot is, what knots do I use? Well, I'm pretty simple. I can use all the wonderful flash things, but basic is basic and it works just as well as anything else. I'm a uni knot fan, and I'll show you that one. Now, most people I meet usually do the old blood knot, and that's through the eye of the hook, around the line 6 times and back through the first loop of the line. That's all very well, but I found through constant use earlier in life, that knot on a long fight on a good fish sometimes gives off. It lets go and you're left with a little tiny little curl at the end of your line and no hook and no fish. Not much fun. It's not the best for knot strength if you're using 10-pound line. Some websites say it loses about 50% of your line strength. I think it's probably 60 or 70 it keeps. The uni knot I find is better. It's quick, it's easy, and I can pretty much tie it in the dark, and so will you. Standard hook, yeah, okay, garfish hook, no, Kamikaze hook. Through the eye of that hook, again, I hope you can see this. I'll come a little bit closer, probably get out of focus. Just through the eye of the hook. The tag end, okay, that end, put a loop in it. Just run around your fingers, put a loop in it. So that's all you've got. Hook's out here, it runs out, it runs a loop, and it keeps going. So that tag end is out there. Now, hold that with your finger. You've still got your tag end, you've still got your line hanging out. Now that tag end, run it around the main line and through that loop 5 times. 5's about the usual. You can go less in heavy lines, but to give you an idea, you've got to get your tongue just right to do this. And like I say, in lines, heavier lines in particular, you can do it at night without even looking. I used to be able to. Now, one of the other things is always wet it. I won't for here, but if it's mono line, you can burn the line by pulling it together. Wet it first, Just a bit of saliva. Now if it's worked properly, that little line, probably see it come together. It's like a hangman's noose. It comes down onto there. Now again, some websites say that keeps up to 98% of your line strength. I think it's maybe around the 80, but it's very, very rare that you'll lose a fish on the knot. It's a great one. It's simple, it's quick. You can use lots and lots of others, but if you're in a hurry and the fish are busting up all in front of you and you want to tie a new lure on real quick, quick and easy. Not hard at all. Give it a try.